What is up, ladies and gentle nerds? It's your boy Graham, also known as HamHocks42 on the internet, and today it is Deck Tech Day. We are taking a look at my self-burn Scourge of the Skyclaves Rakdos build. Now, there are a lot of Rakdos lists out there rolling around. Most of them are mid-range escape-style decks that are specifically designed to mess up the rogue matchup, just because rogues are such a powerful force in the current meta, which is great. Like, that makes sense that would be a target for, a lot of hate. And this deck does take advantage of some of Rakdos' strengths in that regard, but specifically out of the sideboard. The main board is built around one card and one card only, and that is Scourge of the Skyclaves. Well, it's not one card only, but Scourge of the Skyclaves is the big one. It's the main powerhouse of this deck. So the way that Scourge of the Skyclaves works, when you cast so you can kick it, and if you do kick it, both players lose half their life rounded up. And Scourge of the Skyclaves' power and toughness are each equal to 20 minus the highest life total among players. So what that means is, if both players are at 16 health, you have a 4-4. If both players are at 15 health, you have a 5-5. If one player is at 17 health and the other player is at 2 health, you have a 3-3. If both players are at 3 health, you have a 17-17. Etc., etc. Whatever the highest life total is dictates how big this sucker is. And the best part is it only costs 2. So here's how this deck works. It applies early pressure to your opponent's life total with things like Bonecrusher Giant, Robber of the Rich, Stormfist Crusader, and Phoenix of Ash. The whole goal is to punch your opponent fast and early, and at the same time we have things like Bloodchief's Thirst to get rid of any pesky blockers or planeswalkers that are trying to take over the game. We also have a Storm's Wrath in here for that same purpose. We also have Rankle because if on turn 4, Rankle does a couple of great things for us. One, it's incredibly aggressive, so it's a 3/3 flyer that is difficult to deal with. And on top of that, it can actually hurt us too, which is something that we need because Scourge of the Skyclave not only cares about your opponent's health total, it also cares about yours. And that's another reason why we have Stormfist Crusader in here, because these effects where both players draw cards and lose life means that we are getting access to more threats and in the card draw, and we're losing our own life, which, believe it or not, in this deck is very, very important. On top of that, we also have Shatterskull Smashing and Agadeem's Awakening. The primary value of these is to actually be able to pay 3 life to put them into play untapped as lands. That is the main value we get out of them. That said, Shatterskull Smashing can also take care of pesky blockers for us. And if our opponent is running a control deck, Agadeem's Awakening is a great way to reset the board and reestablish a Phoenix of Ash, Robber of the Rich, a Bonecrusher Giant, and Rankle. Or, no, not Phoenix of Ash and Bonecrusher Giant, but you get what I'm saying. You can fill out the rest. Because our curve is pretty evenly spaced between 2, 3s, and 4 drops, we can take advantage of Agadeem's Awakening to really good effect if we're going up against a control deck. That said, if we're going up against a white control deck that exiles, we have a little bit of a problem, but otherwise we're in good shape. So as a result, there's actually one matchup that is a very, very bad matchup for us, but otherwise I feel like this deck is very strong, and that one matchup is the Doom Foretold Yorion deck. That deck can do some pretty bad things to this one. However, if we're going up against rogues, we have some action in the sideboard that we can slot in. Also, if we're going up against the Azorius Yorion build that has the top end of Shark Typhoon, we actually have Feed the Swarm in here as a way to deal with that, which also loses us some life, which, again, we want most of the time. So we have Kroxa in the sideboard, which we can slot in if we're going up against the rogues or any other mill deck. And then we also have more Storm's Wrath, so if we're going up against weenie decks, we can put more Storm's Wrath in the main. Well, we can slot more Storm's Wrath in from the sideboard for games 2 and 3. And then we also have Ox of Agonis in the sideboard, which is another way to effectively transform this deck into something that's more akin to the Rakdos mid-range deck, because that deck is so good at just dunking on rogues. And so if we're going up against rogues, we can effectively convert this deck into that deck by pulling out the Stormfist Crusaders, slotting in Kroxa, slotting in the Ox of Agonis in favor of maybe a Rankle and, one of our Phoenix of Ash. We can tune it so that we can go up against whatever we're building or whatever we're fighting. And of course we have Embercleave, just because This is an aggro deck. Make no mistake, this deck is designed to swing early, and swing often. And so as a result, Embercleave is oftentimes just the beautiful top end that we absolutely need to close the game out. There are plenty of games that we can win without seeing Scourge of the Skyclaves, just because the amount of pressure that we can put on our opponent early is enough to close it out. So that is a possibility. However, ideal situation, we do get Scourge of the Skyclaves online. We also have a cool combo finish that is built into this deck. If we are going up against a control player that just completely eliminates our board presence and really messes us up, we have a little combo in kicking Scourge of the Skyclaves so that everybody loses half their life, and then Kazul's Fury, which in most situations, we're just going to play this out as a tapped mountain and not think much of it. However, with Kazul's Fury, it's fling. We can fling a Scourge of the Skyclaves after everybody loses half their life. Scourge of the Skyclaves then comes in as very, very big. We can then spend 3 mana. So we would need 10 mana available to be able to pull that off in one turn. However, if we're going up against a control deck that's really locking us out of the game, that is a 2-card combo that can win us this game, assuming they don't have too much life gain. But all the same, that is a possibility that this deck is capable of. And that's fun. It's not plan A, but it's a really solid plan B or plan C, depending on the situation. In other situations, Kazul's Fury we can use that to simply finish the game by chucking a Bone Crusher Giant at our opponent's face after we've whittled them down a peg. So that's the idea behind the deck. I like this deck a lot, and let's go ahead and take it out onto the ladder and see what we can do. All right, so we are playing on Ranked. Platinum 2, this hand does not have any red mana sources, so I am going to go ahead and mulligan it. This hand is nothing but red mana sources, so I guess we're going to keep it. The one nice thing about this hand is with the Stormfist Crusader, we have an opportunity to possibly draw into some more threats. So let's go ahead and keep it and let one of the mountains go, because we certainly don't need 3 of those suckers right out of the gate. Now, it's also possible that we're going to draw nothing but lands, which would be definitely a bummer here, which it wouldn't be the first time I've seen that happen. All right, so we got a Stormfist Crusader on 2. I see 2 Ketria Triumphs from our opponent. That's I'm sorry, no, that's a Ketria Triumph and a Rogran Triumph. So we've got Triumphs, we've got a Vullicate Stoneforge. I'm not sure what we're going up against right now. This looks like a 5-color pile, if I had to guess, which I wasn't expecting. So we'll see what this deck does. I noticed they have the Lithoform sleeves. That's pretty cool. Slaying Fire. Okay, so that's 2 red removal spells back to back. I'm very curious as to what we're going up against. But I know what we're doing, and that's Rank Nasty. Let's go ahead and have each player discard a card and then draw a card and lose 1 life. Seems like a great idea, because we'll be able to escape our Phoenix of Ash next turn. Well, we may be able to escape our Phoenix of Ash next turn. We'll see. I'm guessing they have some more removal for Rankle. But they only have 3 cards in hand, so limiting their options seems like a really good idea. Also, you'll notice I have this goofy thing on my face. I'm attempting to grow a beard, so if you're curious what that's about, well, so is my wife. I figured now is not a bad time to do it. Rankle, going bye-bye. Who called it? This guy called it. All right, let's go ahead and escape this Phoenix. We are leveraging we're just completely mortgaging our graveyard for this, which is a mild bummer. So, because any attempt to Aghanim Awakening later isn't going to work, unfortunately. So, I'm seeing control aspect. Ironcrag Feet is the card that they discarded, which is interesting. I'm guessing their top is Ugin? I've seen Ironcrag Feet into Ugin before, and that's a pretty scary combination. So Robert the Rich, Bone Crusher Giant. So this is red deck wins with a really gumpy mana base. I'm really curious as to what else they're running in there. It's looking like mono red, but it's just not. All right. So we can head on into Cleveland here, because Cleveland rocks. Punch pretty hard. Feels decent. And let's go ahead and throw Aghanim Awakening in tapped. I'm not too worried about, we don't have access to Scourge of the Skyclave yet, so focusing on life loss at this point is going to be a little premature. And with our opponent running more aggressive cards, Fae of Wishes. Okay, cool. With our opponent running the more aggressive ground game at this point, I'm going to lose some life anyway. So I'm not too worried about it. There's Ugin, Eugene, the Spirit Dragon. Not surprised. All right, so they're running a Teamer Adventures style setup. Pretty sure we got there. Ba-boom. Because sometimes you just got to believe in the cleave. Boom, onward to game 2. Let's do this. Believe in the cleave. I love it. All right. So in this situation, we're going up against an interesting combination of cards. I feel like the game plan of just being aggressive, like our standard game plan, is probably as good as it's going to get here. Let's go ahead and slot in a couple of board wipes in favor of Stormfist Crusader. And then we could also slot in a Feed the Swarm, I suppose. Or you know what? Let's go ahead and add Croxa into the mix, just because I really like Croxa. And that's the only reason. I can't. There's no strict benefit. Although, being able to limit our opponent's resources by forcing them to discard, which Croxa can add to the mix, is something that's very useful. So that's a nice bonus. Potentially, we'll see. Cannot keep this because it's just one lander. This is not a one lander, so I guess we'll keep it. We can add Croxa early. We can Storm's Wrath. So this is a very controlling hand. Ooh. But we have our finisher that we generally want to build towards. So I'm not mad at this. I'm not mad at this at all. Croxa, I choose you. Pressure the opponent. Do it. Haha. Success. Well, wait, we discarded the Phoenix of Ash. I guess that wasn't as successful as it could have been. Because that's a resource that they'll be able to take advantage of later. Heck, that's a move that I did last game. Ooh, Relic Robber. Oh, okay. That's annoying. That's truly annoying. Good thing my Storm's Wrath is going to address that here in a minute. But we need to put some pain on our opponent's face. So let's go ahead and swing out. We might as well swing with the token. It can't block anyway. Not that attacking with it does much either. Now, I'm not seeing black mana, so I know Relic Robber combines nicely with... Relic Robber combines nicely with Massacre Worm. It's a pretty good effect. So we swing out. Boom. We're at the board. Get all these little tokens out of here. Stop hitting me, bro. I don't appreciate it. They don't have the resources in their graveyard to escape the Phoenix of Ash yet. Ooh. And we don't have the resources to escape our Croxa yet, but that's okay. Because this is a 4/4 for 2. And I love casting 4/4s for 2. Especially when I get 2 of them. Mwahaha. The other cool thing about this deck, the other fun fact that we get to take advantage of, is Storm's Wrath only hits, it like only removes our creatures if they have toughness 4 or less. So it's possible that I just overextended there if they have a Storm's Wrath, but I'm willing to risk it. I seriously still don't understand what they need the green mana for. I haven't seen any use for that. Ah, Shark Typhoon. Don't love that card. Actually, I really dislike that card. Because it should just be a meme, and instead it's the greatest control finisher they've printed in years. Maybe that's a bold statement, but seriously, it's up there. It and Ugin, and so the fact that they both exist in Standard at the same time, freaking nutso. Alright, opponent. Fair play. Ow, my face! Stop hitting my face! I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate you hitting my face. Alright, so we're going to stop the opponent to buff up our Scourges. And they're both coming in. They're probably going to chump block with the Bone Crusher Giant. I know I would, because taking 12 while they know I'm running Bone Crusher Giant is a real problem. But having two 12/12s on, opposite you on the board is also a really big problem. So my hope is that they play out a couple of chump blockers and hope for the best here, because then I can Storm's Wrath, wipe the entire board, the Scourge of the Skyclaves, survive, swing in for the win. That's my hope. And I know that I'm going to lose my Bone Crusher Giant in the mix, but that's okay. Yep, they're going to escape the Phoenix. And they don't have the mana to pump it up enough to kill us here. They're close. Actually, if they have a land in hand that they haven't played that can come into play untapped, we're dead. If they don't, we're not. Yes! Got him. That's exactly what we needed to see. Pre-combat, sweep the board. Farewell, Bone Crusher Giant. It's been an absolute pleasure. What you got, opponent? Got any way to deal with two 12/12s that have taken 4 damage? I don't know anything for 2 mana that could do that. 2 unsummons, perhaps, if they actually had those in hand, because both those triumphs could produce blue, but we got them. All right, we are on the draw in game 1. Not a great feeling, but it could be a lot worse. We've got 1 red mana source in the opening hand, and Robert the Rich just can win games all by itself. I wish one of these swamps was a mountain so we could play the Phoenix of Ash on 3, but we can keep it and hope for the best. Alright, I'm going to play out a swamp first. Because in this situation, because we have the Scourge of the Skyclave in hand, losing life is important to us, and so I'm not too worried about bolting in the Shatter Skull Smashing. Wolfwillow Haven. Interesting. Ooh, there we go. That is what I'm talking about. So we got Golgari. They got a double forest. They're rocking the Kaladesh lands. I'm not sure what we're going up against here just yet. Okay. Oh, it's a Sultai Control build. That makes sense. Sultai Control, which means Feed the Swarm, is going to be coming in from our sideboard for game 2. Ooh, granted on turn 4. Or on turn 3 rather. That ain't bad. That way ain't bad. Ooh, Shadow's Verdict. That is very bad for us. That is very, very bad for us. So bad, in fact, I misclicked because I'm scared. Yeah. That was a fear misclick. Because they are 1 swamp away from being able to cast that Shadow's Verdict. Wishclaw Talisman! Yes! I love this little card. It's so much fun. It is so good. And let's see if they're willing to give it to me right away. Yeah, they are. I have called that little guy my "you win the game" button, because there are so many ways that it can just close out and finish a game for you. I think I'm gonna hold it, because you gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, or so I've heard. I'm tempted to crack it for Kazul's Fury and shoot for the combo finish, but we might get there. We'll see. Okay. Let's just hit him as hard as we can for now. They're in all likelihood gonna Shadow's Verdict next turn after hitting us for 1. And they have a plan for the Wishclaw Talisman. I'm not gonna let them fulfill it right now. They've already used it once. Yep, exile all the things. Makes me mildly sad. Let's play out the Bone Crusher. I believe in the Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher. And if this board survives, Wolfwillow Haven on top of the tapped forest. Interesting choice. All right. If we don't draw into it, we can... But we did. We drew into our Embercleave. I believe that means we win this game. Let's see what they respond with. Dark Typhoon. Okay. All right. Fair play, opponent. Who you blocking? Bone Crusher? That's what I thought. I'm cool with that. I wanted to cleave... Oh, they had to block the Bone Crusher because Stormfist has evasion, of course, in Menace. And that's lethal. Boom, baby. All right, onward to game 2. All right, cool. Apparently, I should do my math. All right, so Feed the Swarm coming in place of Bloodchief's... Ooh, do I swap out Bloodchief's Thirst? Actually, I don't think I do. I'll go down to 2 Bloodchief's Thirst. The reason that I'm keeping that in there is because it looked to me like Ashiok might actually be part of their top end. Ashiok Nightmare Muse, that is. I've seen that card quite a bit on the ladder these last few days, so having a Bloodchief's Thirst available to deal with it is always good. Yeah, something like that. Let's see what happens. Let us see what happens, shall we? Let's shall. All right, Akari Ninja, let's do this. Nope. No red source, not keeping it. 2-lander, I can live with that. Let's let that Storm's Wrath go. 2-lander with a Robber of the Rich and a Bone Crusher Giant in the opening hand. I'll take it. I'll absolutely take it. And since we mulled down to 6, the Robber of the Rich might actually trigger, which would be super rad. And that red mana source is exactly what we needed. We're not going to get the Robber trigger here, but that's okay. We still get the 2 damage to our opponent's face, which is really what we're after. Now they're going to hit that Granted again to go grab it down the Shadow's Verdict. Ooh, Heartless Act. That's just a good card. I can't be mad at that. Heartless Act, I can't be mad at you. Alright, Phoenix of Ash, I choose you. Let's go. Another 2 damage to our opponent's face, making me happy, doing the things. And we have a Feed the Swarm, which we can use to pop that Wolfwillow Haven, which would be kind of lame when we know our opponent's running Shark Typhoon. But at the same time, you never know. Cultivate? Okay, they're ramping up to something. Possibly an Ugin, which is another good reason to keep those Bloodchief's Thirst around. Kazul's Fury. Don't mind if I do. Don't mind if I do at all. Alright, let's play out Bone Crusher Giant here. Because we need more bodies on board if we're going to Embercleave successfully. Now, Kazul's Fury I probably should have played out as a land that we'd be able to Embercleave this turn, regardless of what happens. Holy wow. Alright, that's a thing. That's a thing, but I'm actually not mad about it. Because we've got the Cleave in hand. So they're going to block. We're going to cleave. Trade the Bone Crusher Giant for their gigantic hexproof monstrosity, which is a trade I will make all day, every day. All day, every day. Yep, you tapped down my Embercleave. Good work. And I'm thinking we're going to feed the Swarm that Kiorabes the Sea God before Chapter 3 hits, because I don't want him stealing my Embercleave. Get off my cleave. Another Cultivate. Ouch. They got all the Manyas and an Ugin in hand. It's pretty good. Don't cleave me, bro. Wilt, eh? Alright. So they're going to Ugin here. And then we'll see if they downtick it. If they downtick Ugin 6 to get rid of Embercleave, I'll be somewhat surprised, but not mad. And then ideal situation, we actually top deck an Aghanim Awakening or a Shatterskull Smashing, because being able to bolt that in for 3 and -6, they did it. All right. And they got rid of their own Wolfwillow Haven, which is cool by me. That means Robber the Rich can actually swing in. Let's go ahead and play Scourge. It's the 7-7 that our opponent needs to deal with. Feels pretty good. Robert the Rich can just punch Eugene. Get him out of here. Feeling pretty good about this. I'm feeling really good about this, actually. Let's see. Fave Wishes. They got a blocker down. Fair enough. Another Cultivate because they're running a ramp deck, so they got a ramp. Because ramp deck's got a ramp. It's just how it goes. Another Wolfwool of Haven, eh? Man, they've got a lot of those. Rank Nasty. The Master of Prankles. The one, the only, the Master of Prankles. They didn't chump block the Scourge. Interesting. Let's see, do they have the counterspell? Do they have a counterspell? If they do, I'm going to look silly. Nope, they don't. Got him. Got him. Yes. All right, so we are on the draw for match number 3. Let's do this. This is a pretty control-heavy hand, but I'm not too mad at it. Planes from our opponent leads me to believe that this actually might be a really good keep here. Maybe not. Never mind. So we were going up against Azorius control. I was hoping that it was mono white life gain, but perhaps that was maybe a little overeager on my part to make that prediction just based off one land. I was hopeful though. Instead, it's going to be probably Azorius control based on the golden egg sleeve. It's also possibly a Dance of the Manse. Unknown Shores, eh? Interesting. That's a card I don't usually see. Sleeper Dart, another card that you don't see very often. All right. Interesting. I'm very curious what kind of janky off-meta setup our opponent is running, because I respect it. I respect janky off-meta somethings. I enjoy those quite a bit, as a matter of fact. All right, so they locked down the Phoenix. Fair play, opponent. I can't be mad at that. I mean, I could be, but it would be unreasonable. And that is going to throw off my potential Embercleave next turn, which is a mild bummer. Let's see if they cast out any creatures and or planeswalkers that I can blast with Blood Chief Thirst. That'd be pretty rad. Another Sleeper Dart, eh? All right. Is this a Sleeper Dart lockdown with Luris, maybe? I see Creeping Barrens. That's a really good control finisher as well. I'm surprised they let the Stormfist Crusader untap. I don't know that I would have done that. But then again, I don't exactly know what they're doing. So. So we can swing with Stormfist Crusader here, which we're definitely going to do before this turn is over. Although, well, Sleeper Dart can just pin down the Phoenix again, which is probably what's going to happen, which is mildly annoying, but not the end of the world. We can play out Bone Crusher Giant as a creature, or we can hold it back. We can also play out Scourge of the Skyclave, which is just a 2/2, but we can always Bone Crusher ourselves in the face to bolster it. We also have Agadeem's Awakening, which I probably should have played as the land for turn that time around. Yeah. I'll throw out the Scourge and not feel wonderful about it. All right, so here I was thinking this was a control-heavy hand, but we're applying pressure. Swift response, eh? How rude. How rude. I don't appreciate that one bit, as a matter of fact. So this deck seems to be focused on having our creatures tapped. And so far, everything I'm seeing here leads me to believe that this deck is dialed in specifically to fight aggro decks like ours. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Ooh, Forsaken Monument. Hey, that card doesn't suck. I think I stomp your face. Stomp your face. Pow. All right. Let's go ahead and bolt in the Awakening. The Undercrypt, as it were. And I think this is game. Because Embercleave hops on the Scourge of the Skyclave, making it a 6/6 with double strike. So they can Sleeper Dart, pin it down. Oh, they get to gain a little bit of life there. All right, fair enough. Fair enough, opponent. So it's going to be a 5/5 on the first swing, 6/6 on the second. So they hang on for a minute. Or no, they don't. Just no, they do. Never mind. I do maths good. All right. Let's see if they have another swift response. Sleeper Dart. Yep, you better Sleeper Dart that thing. Because it's about to mess you up. Of course, Phoenix Vash is good enough on its own. Okay. All right. Fair enough, opponent. Fair enough. This is an interesting setup that our opponent has going here. I'm kind of liking it. Not gonna lie, it's cute. Alright, let's go ahead and Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher. And you know what? They're running board wipes, so I'm just gonna equip the Embercleave onto Bone Crusher. And wait. I don't want to overextend here. I'm a little bit nervous about overextending. That said, if they get rid of the Bone Crusher, I will be able to escape the Phoenix of Ash next turn, which is pretty darn cool, in my opinion. Yeah, and Scourge of the Skyclaves at this point is only a 5/5, unfortunately, because my life total is only at 15. Or my life total is still at 15, which is awfully high. Labyrinth of Scophos. Man! Why you gotta go and be like that, opponent? Why you gotta go be like that? So they're running primarily colorless stuff. Labyrinth of Scophos has an opportunity to really mess us up, but they didn't leave enough mana untapped for it. Which is interesting. They might have another land in hand. I don't know. I don't recall if they've played their land for turn yet. Because if they can't hit the Labyrinth of Scophos on the Bone Crusher... Oh, there it is. Shattered Sky. Okay, fair enough. Kazul's Fury! Fury! Alright. We're going to escape the Phoenix of Ash. Slap an Embercleave on it. And see. Boom, baby. And I'm holding the Scourge back because I just don't want to overextend. Because at this point, because of where our opponent is, that Kazul's Fury is poised to win us the game. I'm going to be very interested to see if that blue mana stays untapped. Because a counterspell, like a negate on Kazul's Fury, is the one thing that could really mess our day up. And I don't like it when my day gets messed up. Because at this point, we can buff the Phoenix of Ash. Even if they gain another 2 life, we can buff the Phoenix of Ash once and fling it into their face. Yeah, that Forsaken Monument is doing work. This is an interesting setup. Again, I like what our opponent's doing here. It's unique. And I swear, matchmaking knows when I have the camera rolling because I always get the coolest matchups when I'm recording videos for YouTube. Always. I don't know why that is, but I do. You know, I've actually been playing this deck on the ladder quite a bit, and I haven't seen anything like this. Yeah, I was actually surprised when I saw that I hadn't already filmed a Forsaken Monument's Legendary. That's just gains you some life. All right, that gains you a fair amount of life. That's respectable. It's downright respectable. We're 2 mana shy of being able to pull off the Scourge combo, which is a mild bummer. And we're 1 mana shy of pumping the Phoenix twice and flinging, which is also a bummer. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do anything in the hopes that my opponent, knowing my opponent's probably going to sleeper dart my Phoenix, which is mildly annoying, but not the end of the world. But, okay, fine. That's to be expected. What I hope happens is they swing at me with their Solemn Simulacrum. Because if they hit me with the Solemn Simulacrum, that'll bring my life total down to 11, which means my Scourge of the Skyclaves is going to be a 9-9. Which means, well, they're a little bit outside of the range now. But, all the same, we could really hit really hard with the Kazul's Fury, which is what I want. That's the goal. To punch me. Punch me, please. Come on, opponent. Hit me. They just drew an obscene amount of cards. I don't like that. I way don't like that. I'm starting to wonder if I should have actually busted out the Scourge of the Skyclaves and kicked it last turn, setting up for the Kazul's Fury this turn. That might have been the better way to do it. Potentially. But if they have any removal, they're going to do whatever it takes to get rid of that sucker. So, I think I made the right call. We'll see. Dance. The Mance is dancing, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's a lot of stuff. And they're going to draw a bunch of cards. Which, I mean, hey, good for them. Another solemn action. Yeah, the gaining of the life off the Forsaken Monument is proving to be quite a problem. Yeah, I think that dance actually may have just done us in. I shouldn't have been surprised by it. I should not have been surprised by that at all. Ow, my face. Oh, my beautiful, beautiful face. All right. Let's see. That's a fun glitch. Love that. Okay. Blood Chiefs you. Blood Chiefs you. And do we have a choice but cast the Scourge, cast out the Scourge right now? I think we just need to throw it, which bums me out. Something fierce. And then they have lethal on the ground. I have no doubt I missed lethal here. I don't know how, but I know I did. So please, in the comment section below, let me know what I screwed up here. Fortunately, this is only game 1. Fortunately, this is only game 1. Please let me know what I did wrong. I know it was something. That Forsaken Monument is getting in work. Oh my goodness. I think we need to go on to game 2 here. We'll play it out, but... yeah, never mind. We're not going to play it out. Let's just move on to game 2. They had lethal on the ground. There was nothing I could do. All right. So, Feed the Swarm. Although, that can't break artifacts. So, maybe Feed the Swarm's actually not that good here. Storm's Wrath in the event of a successful dance could be problematic. Or could be useful, rather. Or do we just need to go... you know what? Let's just run it back. Let's just keep it going. Let's stick with the main deck. And this time, though, I'm going to be a little more... I'm going to do my best to be a little more selective about what hands I keep, because we need to keep an aggressive hand. We need to get up in their business, and we need to stay in their business as fast as possible, because we ultimately need to finish the game before they get that Forsaken Monument online. It's not that the Forsaken Monument is it's not, doesn't end us completely, but ooh, it's tough because that life gain is a very real obstacle for us. Also, I appreciate their use of Sleeper Dart. I feel like Sleeper Dart is surprisingly underrated and actually works really well in that kind of a context. In a situation where you're going to be playing Golden Egg, or, well, actually one that appeared prior to the most recent rotation was the Guild Globe that was in Ravnica Allegiance. I know that got, I believe it was Allegiance. Anyway, I know that those got a lot of play, and I'm glad to see Sleeper Dart is kind of filling that slot. So the good old Dance of the Man stack, it's alive and well. And our buddy Blue here is showing it off in fine form. All right. I think I'm going to cut most of this out. Or should I? I don't know. Yeah, a minute and a half of dead air while sideboarding. Yeah, we can cut that out. Or will I? Oh. Makes you wonder. All right. Definitely playing first. We got Rankle. We got Phoenix of Ash. It's not as fast as I would have liked, but it's fast enough that it can do the job. So let's make it happen. For a second, I thought that was going to do the slow fall bug again. All right, so we're looking at like... So we got a turn 3 Phoenix of Ash into a turn 4 Rankle into a turn 5 Embercleave, assuming they survive, which is probably saying a lot. Or assuming a lot, rather. Mazemind Tome is great. Hot take, Mazemind Tome's a great card. And that's one of those that when I first read it during the M21 spoilers, I didn't see, like, I didn't think it was that great. And I have my initial thought has been proven horribly, horribly wrong. And I'm cool with that. I don't mind being wrong when it's because a card is cool. And I don't appreciate how cool a card is initially. Rankle, I choose you, let's go. Ba-boom. Probably should have forced the discard there. Yeah, probably should have forced the discard there. That way we're closer to escaping Phoenix of Ash. But that's okay. Shadow Sky? Oh, Swift Response. That works too. Yep, that works too. So let's go ahead and Stomp Face. Plow. And play out a Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher. So this is the kind of situation where I'm interested in possibly putting in some artifact removal into the sideboard. Maybe Ember Shieldbreaker. Or what's the other one? I think they're Shredded Sails, I want to say, is the other one that can destroy flyers or artifacts. Something like that, actually, in the sideboard might make a lot of sense. Let's go ahead and bolt this in. And Cleveland Rocks. Negate. Fair point. Fair point, opponent. Good thing I have another another Embercleave in my hand. I'm overcommitting to that joke. And it's not even mine. Like, that's... Yeah, I originally heard that from the Agent Avenger over at MTG Goldfish. I need to give proper credit where credit's due. But yeah, I'm just going hard on that joke to the point where I just see I read Embercleave and I just see Cleveland now. I'm not sure why. All right, Sleeper Dart on the Bone Crusher Giant is frustrating for sure. Mild annoyance, to say the least. The other cool thing that we have here that can help us with our life total situation is Castle Lochthwain. Ow, my face, which is exactly what I wanted to do there. All right, cool. Because that puts us, make sure that any Scourges that we get are going to be a little bit more swole which is ultimately what we're going after. And I'm sorry, everyone, for saying the word swole there in reference to the size of my creature. That is uncalled for, and I know it. I'm sorry. Mea culpa. All right. What you got, opponent? Show me what you got. Swift response, that'll do. That'll do. A third swift response. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Another Embercleave. Doesn't really help. Not yet, anyway. We'll get there. It's possible that Embercleave is going to win us this game. We'll see. Another swift response? No? Ah. Instead, we actually get to punch your face? Do we actually get to punch your face? Yeah, we got to punch face! Woo! I love punching face. In the game. I want to make sure that's abundantly clear. I'm referring to in the game of Magic the Gathering. I enjoy punching my opponent in the face. That's why I play a lot of aggro decks. In reality, I do not condone punching people in the face. Don't do it. It's not nice. All right, opponent. Show me what you got. Let's do this. So they've got 6 mana down, 7 mana down. Not enough to cast Ugin. So if they're sitting on Ugin, they can't get there from here. So if they have removal for the Phoenix, that's their best bet. Because right now I'm gonna live or die by this Phoenix. Oh, let's see. I actually have the mana just to pump it straight to 7. Which I'm planning on Embercleaving just because it's a better value. Shadow this guy, yep. No, they had to do that. They didn't have a choice. And I can't blame them. And they had no way of knowing that I was going to draw that. Because I had no way of knowing I was going to draw that. Das Cleave! Believe in the cleave. Got another negate? Didn't think so. Booyah! Let's go. And this is going to get him down to 1. Disenchant! Oh, no! Classic. You know what? That's going to get a nice. I like Disenchant. I like seeing Disenchant. It makes me happy. It's just a classic card. That actually really made my day, actually. Like, non-ironically. Like, I'm not kidding. That did genuinely make me happy. Alright, so now they can cast out Ugin if they have it. We shall see. We shall see. Or are they ready for a dance? I mean, they only have a sleeper dart in the bin, so actually a dance here wouldn't be very good. It might be necessary, just because they don't have much, you know, don't have many options. It's possible. We'll see. Forsaken Monument, it's a good card. It's a darn fine card. We're going to bolt that in. Going to swing. Going to cleave. Negate? You got the negate? Yes, no, maybe so? There it is. Boom. All right, so that wasn't as explosive as I was hoping, but it still hurt pretty badly. So we've actually cast 3 Embercleaves, and they have answered 3 Embercleaves. That's pretty cool. I got to give them some props for that. 2 negates and a disenchant. Just well done. Absolutely well done. That Mazemind Tome getting some work done. Crawling Barrens, fine card. Unknown Shores is an interesting choice here. And it's working pretty well with the Forsaken Monument. And they're not trusting the auto-tapper, which I really appreciate. Because you can't trust the auto-tapper. If you have a choice, don't you dare trust the auto-tapper. Trust me on that. It's never good. I've trusted the auto-tapper a number of times, and yeah. And about 10% of the time, it works correctly. Every time. Solemn. Sad robot. Welcome to the party, sad robot. Why are you so sad, sad robot? Let's see. We only have Phoenix of Ash in the graveyard, so Agadeem's Awakening would be kind of lame here. It would cost us 5 mana. We'd have 3 back. We'd get... yep, not quite good enough. Actually, wait a minute. Cancel, check it, flip it, reverse it. If we... So if we bolt in Agadeem's Awakening, put this down to 7. We blast Scourge of the Skyclaves. Our opponent loses 4 life, puts him at 6 if we kick it. Then we can swing in, pump this thing up to 4. Not good enough. Not good enough, so let's play it safe. Let's not kick it. I feel lame. I feel lame for not kicking it. Because sometimes you just got to kick it. Now that we've just invested all of that. Pff, stupid Scofos. Curse you, Labyrinth of Scofos. Curse you. You utility land that's designed for this exact purpose. Curse you, Soul Guide Lantern, for getting rid of my other Phoenix of Ash that I was going to have to use at some point here. Grrr. Curse you, Ugin, for exiling all of my things for a whopping -3. Yeah, we're dead. Dang it! The Forsaken Monument Dance of the Manse deck. Who saw that coming? I mean, we're not dead for sure. We do have Storm's Wrath, which is going to completely wipe their board. And they didn't attack for some unknown reason. So, I guess we're not dead. We're not dead. That was a premature call. We did have an answer for their Ugin. So, I need to chill out, is the moral of the story. Let's go ahead and draw a card. Another Agadeem's Awakening. You're not helpful. Not in this situation. I mean, in many situations, I'm very glad to have you. Unfortunately, our board just got exiled, not destroyed. Therefore, doesn't really do us much good. Now, had the Phoenix of Ash and the Scourge of the Skyclaves been destroyed and gone to the graveyard, then an Agadeem's Awakening with where X equals 3 actually could be pretty good. But as it stands, it's not so good. I'm going to let you come into play tapped, even. I'm going to play you, though, because I need to draw more cards and hopefully get an answer. Kazul's Fury, I like you. If I draw another Scourge of the Skyclaves at this point, we could hit the combo win, which would be pretty rad. Unless they gain any more life. Which, let's be honest, they're probably going to do. Have to block. Don't really have a choice. Mild bummer. If damage still went on the stack, I might actually use the Kazul's Fury there, but damage does not go on the stack anymore because they fixed it. Fart. Oh yeah, we're dead next turn because they can Crawling Barrens and Solemn Simulacrum. I'm gonna let them play it out, but flashing the GGs because yeah, they got me. That was a very good game though, and you know what? We got completely wrecked. Apparently, this is a bad matchup for us. I didn't even know. This is fun though. You know what? If I'm gonna lose, I want to lose to something a little bit out of the ordinary. This is a deck that runs Unknown Shores. Oh, they didn't Crawling Barrens first? They had me. They had me dead to rights. Color me confused. And I could just, well, I can't anymore, but I was considering Castle Lochthwaining to, or I can Kazul's Fury my own face for the concession, which could be fun. I'm kind of surprised they didn't kill me that turn, but we'll see. again, I have Kazul's Fury in hand, so if we draw into a Scourge of the Skyclaves, because we have all the mana in the world, we could still pull off this win. Although they haven't used any... There we go. No, they're doing it this turn. Okay. I was hoping they forgot again. Yeah. All right. You know what? That was fun. Those are some good games, and I'm always down for good games against odd decks. That's delightful. Thanks so much for checking out the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This has been a load of fun. Yeah, you can check out the full deck list is actually over on AetherHub right now. The link is going to be in the description below. Feel free to download that if you want to import it into your own Arena client. And I will catch you guys next time. Thank you so much for hanging out. Don't forget, you are a good person, and you deserve to be happy.